We have seen how to compute a power n using loops in the previous videos. Now in this video, let's use recursion to compute a power n. Before computing a power n using recursion, let's look at the iterative definition of a power n. The iterative definition for a power n is a into a into a into a so on n times. So to get a power n, you need to multiply a with itself n times, right? So this is our iterative definition. Now let's look at the recursive definition of a power n. We can write a power n as a power n takes value 1 when n is equal to 0, or we can write a power n as a into a power n minus 1 when n is greater than 0. This is the recurrence relation to find a power n. Now let us assume n is greater than 0 and we need to find a power n. When n is greater than 0, we have this equation, right? A power n is equal to a into a power n minus 1. Now we have the term called a power n minus 1, which can be written as a into a power n minus 2. In this also we have a term called a power n minus 2, which can be written as a into a power n minus 3. This a power n minus 3 can also be written as a into a power n minus 4, and this substitution continues, and at some point we get a into a power 2. Even a power 2 can be written as a into a power 1. Finally, a power 1 can also be written as a into a power 0. At this point in the term a power 0, n is equal to 0, right? So when n is equal to 0, a power n is equal to 1. So when we substitute a power 0 with 1, we get the value of a power 1. So this value is actually the value of a power 1, which is its caller. So are you getting this? So what I mean to say is, here n is equal to 0. So when n is equal to 0, we need to substitute 1 in place of a power n, right? So when you substitute 1 here, you will get a into 1, which is equal to a. This is the value of a power 1, right? This is the value of a power 1. So this value of a power 1 should be substituted in place of a power 1. That will give me the value of a power 2, right? So we got the value of a power 1, and you are multiplying the value of a power 1 into a, which will give me the value of a square, which is actually the value of a square, right? Because this is the one which we have written like this, right? A square is written as a into a power 1, and a power 1 is written as a into a power 0, and we have substituted this back. So we have to substitute the value of a square also in this. Now after substituting value of a square here, we get the value of a cube, which should be substituted in its caller, right? And so on, we reach a into a power n minus 4, where we get the value of a power n minus 3. This is the value of this term, right? So you just substitute value of a power n minus 3 in this place to get value of a power n minus 2, which is actually the value of a power n minus 2. So you substitute this value here to get the value of a power n minus 1. This in turn the value of this guy, where a power n minus 1 is equal to this value. So when you substitute this value, it will give the value of a power n, right? So we have found the value of a power n in this method also, not just multiplying a n times, but here we have found value of a power n in a different way. So this is how recursion works. Recursion works in two phases. The first one is the winding phase, in which the function keeps on calling itself. The winding phase stops when the terminating condition arrives in a call. So here in this case, the termination condition is n is equal to 0. So whenever n is equal to 0, the function call stops, and from then phase 2 starts. In phase 2, we return the value of each function to its caller in the reverse order. So this is how recursion works. Whenever you are trying to solve a problem using recursion, you should keep two things in mind. The first thing is you should be able to define the solution of the problem in terms of a similar type of smaller problem using recurrence relation, and at each step you should get closer to the final solution of your original problem. And the second thing is there should be a terminating condition to stop recursion, otherwise the recursion goes into infinite loop and you will never get the desired value. In this case, the terminating condition is the base condition, which is our n is equal to 0, it returns 1, and the recurrence case is when n is greater than 0. So you should have these two values, these two things in any program which you are trying to solve using recursion. Now let's find a power n using a toy example. Let's say we want to find 2 power 4 using recursion. The recurrence relation for this is here, and if you want to find 2 power 4, it can be written as 2 into 2 power 3, and 2 power 3 can be written as 2 into 2 power 2, 2 power 2 can be written as 2 into 2 power 1, and 2 power 1 is written as 2 into 2 power 0. Now we have reached the base condition where n is equal to 0. So when n is equal to 0, a power n is equal to 1. So when we substitute 1 in place of 2 power 0, we get 2, and this value, which is 2, is substituted in place of 2 power 1 to get 2 into 2, which is 4. This value 4 is substituted in place of 2 power 2, which is 2 into 4 equal to 8, and this value 8 is substituted in place of 2 power 3, which gives me 2 into 8, which is 16. So this is the final value of 2 power 4. This is how you compute 2 power 4 using recursion, right? So let's consider this recurrence relation, and let's write this recurrence relation in terms of functions. So here is this function power of a comma n. The value of a power n is equal to 1 when n is equal to 0, and if n is greater than 0, then we'll have a into power of a comma n minus 1. So this is our recurrence relation, and we are going to implement this recurrence relation in C programming. So this is the same program that we have seen in the previous chapter, where we have computed x power y using loops. So here we have this loop which computes the value of x power y. Now let's do the same thing using recursion. So I'm going to remove this whole code within this function, and I'm going to have recursion in this place. Since we have discussed in terms of a and n, let's have a here and n here, which is our a is our base and n is our exponent. So let me change this also. So a is base and n is exponent, right? So this I need to implement this function. Just look at the recurrence relation. Let me write it here. So the recurrence relation is power of a comma n is equal to 1 when n is equal to 0. Otherwise, power of a comma n is equal to a into power of a comma n minus 1, right? Otherwise, this is when n is greater than 0, right? So I have this recurrence relation, and I need to write a recursive function to implement this. So let's quickly do that. So what it says is, if n is equal to 0, then return 1, otherwise, that means else, return a into power of a comma n minus 1, right? As simple as that. That's it. Our recursive function is done, which can compute a power n. Now let's quickly run this program to see what the output is. So it asks me base and exponent. Let me give 2 and 4. That gives 16. It is correct. Now let's say if you want to give any other number, for example 4 power 3, sorry, 4 is the base and 3 is our exponent. 4 power 3 is equal to 64, right? So we got the correct value. Now if you observe, this program is not capable of handling negative exponents. If you observe, in the recurrence relation, there is no condition when n is less than 0, that is exponent is less than 0. So to accommodate that, we can have something like this. We can pass the absolute value of exponent to the power function, and if exponent is less than 0, then we can just reciprocate the value of result, right? So if we have this condition, then this program can handle negative exponents also, right? So let's quickly run this program and give some negative exponents. So let's say I want 2 power minus 1, which is 0.5, right? So this program should be able to compute it properly. I got to 0.50. Let me give another value. Let's say I want to find 4 power minus 2, which is 1 by 16, which is equal to 0.0625. Since we have format specifier here, which restricts the number of digits after decimal to 2, so let me remove that format specifier and see what the output is for the same values. So let me give 4 and minus 2 here, which computes to 0.0625, right? So we got the correct value. This is how you do recursion in C programming. So if you observe the difference between the iterative version and recursive version, recursive code is simply elegant. So let me just quickly look at the iterated version of a power n. So here, this is the iterated version of a power n, where we have this loop. This looks a bit complex, right? Whereas the recursive version looks clean and concise. There are only two conditions and there are only two return statements, right? But whereas here we have a for loop and there is a condition and there is one return statement. The iterated version looks complex, whereas this recursive version looks clean and concise.